Hello, everyone. It's Jeannie. How are you? I hope you're well. Welcome to my channel, Jeannie B. ASMR. You know, it's funny. I remember when I started this YouTube channel, I was trying to think of a clever name. You know, whisper this or gentle. I shouldn't say gentle whispering because we all know gentle whispering, but you know, something that evoked ASMR, gentle calmness, night this or that, or just, you know, something that would be easy to remember. And I wrote down a ton of names, and I've got my notebook. It's the same notebook that I wrote down the first, 30, 40 followers. And finally, I just thought, I can't come up with anything that just feels right. So I said my name, Jeannie B. ASMR. And I thought, I can change it later. And if you start a YouTube channel, you can always change your name. Well, it stuck. And so here I am, still Jeannie B. So today's Friday Flip is a special one for me. And I'm going to take this opportunity to share something with you that I've been working on for a while. And I'm going to color while I blah, blah, blah and chit chat with you. And I'm going to be using these beautiful pencils and ink pens, or what do you call them, markers. And what we're going to be coloring in is this coloring book called Peaceful Moments, a coloring book for relaxation and calm, by Jeannie B. That's right. This is my book, my coloring book. And it's on Amazon. And I'll put a link. And I've been sending it out to a few people, some special little gifts. And I just want to tell you about this and what the inspiration was for this. Let me read the back to you. It's big, so I don't need my glasses. It says, slow down, breathe, create, and step into a world of quiet comfort and gentle calm. Peaceful Moments is a cozy coloring and reflection book designed to help you slow down and enjoy creative moments. Inside, you'll find peaceful illustrations to color, thoughtful prompts for reflection, and open pages for your own ideas and quiet creativity. And I did this. I did what I wanted to do. Let me explain this. When I was coloring with my granddaughter, as we were coloring, I was asking her questions. Thoughtful questions, provoking questions. Questions like, what made you feel good today? What made you smile? What good thing did you do? And as she was coloring, I just started thinking, this is really cool. I was doing it. I was feeling super calm. She was coloring too. And we're just chit-chatting and thinking about peaceful, calming things and conversation and things from the day that made us feel good. Because we know there are a lot of things in the day that we could focus on that are negative or, not pleasant. And we tend to do that because we want to try to do them over in our heads. I do anyway. It's like, what could I have said instead of that. And so I created this coloring book kind of with her in mind, but also with me in mind, and anybody who was wanting to pick up a pencil or a pen, a crayon, and color and be prompted to think of something peaceful to think about and journal. So I'm going to show you this, and I'll turn on my split screen here and show you up close. But here, look at this right now. So I'm going to show you some of the things, and I'm going to read to you as I go through here some of the prompts, because I think these prompts really help, especially toward the end of the day, help to calm us down and find some peace. And so if you have a child that you want to sit and color with, here are some great prompts to discuss with them. And there are lines to fill out for some very light journaling. Now, the way I put this together, and it looks so simple, but it took a lot of time and correction after correction after correction. They say the devil is in the details. It's true. You have to do this right or it doesn't work. And so every back page is blank. And the reason I did that was because I didn't want to use the super duper heavyweight paper, which would make this way more expensive. For bleed through, if you use certain markers, you'll have some bleed through and it would bleed onto the other page that you're coloring. So I wanted to have that not happen. And for me, I like to make notes as I'm coloring and doing something. If I have a thought, I quickly write it down. I'll show you. So here's an example. Here's the page that I was coloring. And I started to make some notes for a dinner party. And then the next page will be a page of prompts. And for instance, sounds that calm me. What sounds help you relax or feel more peaceful? And so I'll show you my answer. And then on the bottom of every prompt page, it says, there's one line with a question. One small, unexpected comfort that I noticed today. One small kindness that I noticed today. One thing I did today to care for myself. And so I'm going to go through this with you. I loved the cover and the colors, and it just is all about peaceful moments. I've done a lot of crafts in my past, and I have a lot of craft supplies. I've done a lot of sewing. I've made curtains and draperies. I've made my own dresses. I've made dresses for my girls and for my granddaughter for holidays. I've made one wedding dress, or was it two? One. A bridesmaid dress. I've made a couple of prom school dance type dresses when I was bartering for babysitting a long time ago. So I did that. I took up knitting and crocheting for a while, but that didn't stick. And I would like to do more of that. And Softly Marie ASMR is an amazing yarn worker. And so I want to go back and use some of her videos to do that. But that for me is kind of a winter thing. Sitting on the couch, watching TV, maybe doing a yarn project. But I was never one to just sit down and color on my own. Typically, I did it with one of the kids, and now with my grandkids. And the other night, I was doing this all on my own. As we were watching some TV, we were watching Broadchurch. Oh, I loved that. It was a BBC, Broadchurch, very good. And just coloring in between scenes. So let me turn this on and we'll get to it. And this is going to be a lot of blah, blah, blah and coloring in. And I'll show you some of these pages. And I'm just really proud of this book. And I'm proud that it's published on Amazon. So, I really like these markers that I'm using. And I really like these pencils that I'm using, these colored pencils. They are not expensive. I know there are some sets out there that are very high-end. These aren't. I'll put links in to show you the ones I'm using. So, here is my book, my coloring book for relaxation and calm. So, the first page, just peaceful moments. This book belongs to, if you're getting this book, say, for a couple of grandkids, you may want to fill that out for them, like a dedication, or one is for Mary and one is for Susie, so they know. And here's my personal note. I created this little book for you as a quiet space to rest and relax. Inside, you'll find peaceful illustrations to color and some gentle prompts to help you notice the small, beautiful moments of everyday life. Take your time with it. There's no rush. Enjoy the moment of relaxing and slowing down. I hope these pages bring you a bit of calm whenever you need it. Very warmly, Jeannie B. And what almost every page, every picture has is some sort of teacup, maybe a mug, because that is the central theme, just kind of tea and comfort. So here's some tea and a candle and a book, like a journal. The first page, the first prompt is a quiet moment. Think of a moment recently when you felt peaceful. What were you doing? What made it feel calm? So I'll read you my answer. And I need my glasses for my writing. Driving as a passenger with my husband, we were just feeling so peaceful and relaxed, listening to music. I was really taking in the peace of the moment, the calm, and the unhurriedness. And I think that was when we were in California a couple weeks ago. I drew a little picture of Leo, our cat, one small thing that made me smile today. My cat Leo fake attacking Margot when she came in from her potty break. And so Margot goes, our dog, goes out and she does a peeps out front on the lawn. And then when she comes in, she always trots in. She doesn't walk in, she trots in. And so Leo was there waiting to ambush her. And he did this big leap like he was going to, jump on her and attack her. And he didn't. He just kind of came down. It was a big fake move. And it was so funny. And it brought me so much joy. And it made me smile. And because remember, Marco is 8 pounds. Leo's 18 pounds. So he could totally womp on her, but he didn't. And anyway, I'm glad I wrote this down because I would have forgotten about that. So that made me smile, and I'll remember this. I'll remember that moment. So I started coloring this one. And it is my microphone, my headphones, my teacup and a candle, and my little journal. And it is a quiet ASMR recording session. So I have infused this with a little bit of me. And I've made notes on this side for my dinner party. Sounds that calm me. What sounds help you relax or feel peaceful? Let's see if I can read this. I love the sounds of my favorite and comforting voices. Lovely blah blah blah. That is soothing and relaxing. And you guys know some of my favorites. Softly Marie ASMR, old school ASMR sounds, gentle whispering. Oh, I just have such sound envy on all these people too. Lori, Latte. The thing I love about Lori's voice is it's calm and soothing, but it's also, there's a power in it when she's talking. There's a strength in it, That is something I find very, very calming. There's a sense of authority in how she speaks. And I love that. And of course, Ray Moon, Emma, from Whispers Red. Oh, and I know Kim, my dear Kim, Angel on My Shoulder. And I think, and there are more, and I'm sorry, I forget them. Another one that I listen to, and I don't listen to many men, is the French Whisperer. He just goes deep dives into his history, and they're long, and I drift off to sleep listening to his voice. And so those are off the top of my head some of the voices that are my go-tos for sounds that calm me. Okay, then I have a cozy corner, and it's just a chair with a pillow and a book and a blanket and a cup of tea or latte, and it's a rainy day. And I started on this one, as you can see. A favorite quiet place. Describe a place where you feel most calm and comfortable, and what makes that space special to you. That's an important question to a child, ourselves as well, but I like for children to think about where they feel safe and where they feel good, because I want them to appreciate it. And, really get in touch with, there is that place for you somewhere. And then on the bottom, it's one small kindness I noticed today. And so I've got a cat, curl up and relax, a cup of tea, another rainy day, things that help me unwind, something I did to care for myself today. And again, I really like the idea of prepping young ones to look for things, things to soothe themselves, ways to self-soothe, things to be grateful for, but also ways to soothe and to notice what did soothe them. Writing, kind of a quiet writing scene. A moment I felt proud and something I did well today. It's a beautiful garden scene. A memory that makes me smile. Write about a memory that always brings a smile to your face. What would that be for you? What makes you smile? Let me know in the comments. What memory just immediately makes you smile? For me, it's usually something with my friends or with my older brother who's passed away. Those things make me smile. Some of them make me, with my friends, are like, oh my goodness. And a happy thought from today. And so, what I'm grateful for today, a perfect, quiet day. Ask a child that. Ask yourself too. If you could design a perfectly calm day just for yourself, what would it look like? And I would love to hear that if you could tell me in the comments. What would your perfectly calm day look like? So I'll stop there. I won't go through every single one. But I would be honored if you would get this for someone you love, a young one, an old one, and let me know what their thoughts are, what your thoughts are on this, in terms of, does it evoke something gentle and calm and reflective? So, because I love your stories. You guys have the best stories. So I'm going to color. That's what we're going to do as I flip through this. Will I start a new one or will I complete? Oh, by the way, on this, I don't think you can see it here. It says, I wrote this. It's not in the book. In the first page where it says a quiet ASMR recording session, it's an open book with a little journal. It says, today I am grateful for my ASMR community. Okay, I think I'll work on this one that I've been working on. And okay. So I ask myself, do I want to see colors that are real, or do I want the colors and vibrancy that I want, just for me? And that's what I'm going with. So I've got a blue blanket with green trim. I think I'm going to make this chair. What color should I make it? I think I'm going to do a deep green. Yes. Now, something that I found interesting with these pencils and these markers, and it makes coloring really pretty, is when you start the first layer with the pencil and then go in and touch it up with the markers. And like I said, if I just use straight markers and I get really heavy, there will be a little bit of bleed through on the other side. It's not bad, but that's why I have a blank page here, number one, and I didn't want to go for super heavy paper. It's way too expensive for that. And okay, so I have a nice green velvet chair, and I could what I like about these markers is they're double-sided, so you've got a thick end and there's a very fine end. So I'll use the thicker end and just kind of add some green highlights to it. The buttons will be this darker, more vibrant green. I love coloring with my grandkids. As they sit and color, and you do it with them, your children, your grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, heck, whomever. It's just interesting to notice the conversation that comes up, particularly with the prompts. And I spent a lot of time coming up with these prompts. You know, it's like, what kind of digs deep and brings out these thoughts of gratitude, thoughtfulness, memories, good memories. There's a lot of free form to this. You can go out and color beyond or stay in the lines. Now, when I was a little girl, I remember maybe 3, 4, and we had a kind of a big box of crayons and our coloring books. And I would be laying on the living room floor coloring with my brother Brian, my older brother. And I'd be doing my thing. And I remember one time looking over at what he was doing, and I compared it to mine. And I was so discouraged. And I remember feeling just so... He was a year older than me, 15 months older than me. So, you know. But he was so artistic. He was so good. But I remember comparing his work to mine and thinking, I'm just not good. I'm just not good. And I thought, I'm just going to put away the crayons and never color again. Why? He's so much better than me. And then I had this thought that even in my lack of being as good as him didn't mean that I couldn't enjoy it myself and do what I wanted to do. You know? So I had this little internal conversation with myself. And of course, he was talented in ways I think God-given gifts that you're born with. And I had other gifts. And let's see. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm kind of winging it here. Everything's very blurry. I mean, I was more social than he was. And so, you know, that was a different kind of gift, right? I was someone who could get things done. I could figure out a project from beginning to end and get it handled. He was much more abstract. And I think I've mentioned this before. I think in today's terminologies, it would be he was on the spectrum. And brilliantly so. Brilliantly so. I wouldn't change a thing about him. He was gentle and loving and kind and selfless. Completely selfless. He thought about others before he would think about himself. And I know I wasn't that way as a little girl. I was more selfish, you know. I want that toy. I want that, you know. And he wasn't that way. So like I say, I wouldn't change a thing about him. He was so special. Brian Arthur. Okay, what color should this pillow be? I've got a bright green couch. You know what I'll do is the legs of the chair, I'll do those in kind of this color, brown. Doing this color chair. In the 60s, we had a sofa that was kind of a crushed velvet type of sofa. And it was this goldish, greenish, kind of a pukey color. It was more gold than green. You know what? I'm going to color over that with a darker brown. And, but that sofa was, let's see. I think my mom and dad, you know what? They never bought a new one until, and they moved out of the town, and when they built a new house, there's a whole story behind that. They got a new sofa. Finally, after decades. Yeah. But my whole life, it was the same sofa. And you know what? That is one of my happy memories, being on that sofa, being home from school sick, you know, when I had the flu or something, a cold, and laying on the sofa while my mom ironed, and she had the TV on, maybe a couple of soap operas or a game show like The Price is Right or something like that. That's what this chair is reminding me of. Okay, so the pillow. What should I color the pillow? Let me work on this book real quick. I'll just kind of color in this book a little bit of tan there. Yeah. Pillow. What should this pillow be? Yellow? Okay, let's do yellow. We'll do yellow like these flowers here. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be a bright picture. It's so interesting. Oh, listen, the yard people are coming. I swear, Just know there may be one on any of these houses, and it waits for me. Okay, that is part of the sofa. If I remember correctly. Yep. There. And now if I want to make it extra vibrant, I'll use some darker yellow. If you're older, like closer to my age, do you remember the furniture in your house growing up? Let's see. I think our refrigerator was that golden yellow to that harvest gold. Okay, so I've got a another thing about each of these coloring pages is that you can take a lot of time to get as detailed as you want. It would thrill me to no end to see pictures that you color in. You know, to think that something I did went beyond me besides just my blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. I'll use this for my tea. Yeah, my Earl Grey. And color that in a little. Almost, I think, every single page has tea. Here's a bathtub scene, and I really like this because you can, again, be detailed, and there's lots of little detail with candles and books and leaves and plants and things like that. So, I don't know. This has been a labor of love doing this. And my granddaughter, I just sent these out, and I sent some to my granddaughter too. One for her. I thought I'll do, because she'll be 6 in August. So I thought her mom, my daughter, can do one and she can do the other, and they can do them together. Okay, if I was gonna do this rug, what color? You know, what about red? A red rug. Kind of a, yeah. Maybe a couple of different reds. Now, you can do broad stroke, or you can do lots of detail in here. I played Mahjong this morning and I won a game. I played Mahjong a few days back, 3 or 4 days ago, and I won twice. I was so excited. You know? So I'm getting it. There was a time where I was thinking, no, I'm just not smart enough, or I can't grasp the numbers. But sticking with it, you can. think I'm going to do the border of this in different colors. Pink. Maybe a bright pink. What the heck? Some of these decorations in here. If you know this, the answer to this, this is almost too fine for me not to be wearing my glasses, so I'm going kind of abstract here. If you've got kids or, in school, do they still do art in school where they just sit and draw? I remember in school back in the 60s where we would color, and just we would get a ditto page of, something and, coloring it. Do they still do that? Oh, I like this. Kind of pinks and reds. I like pink. It's going to start getting really loud because the blowers are coming and the edgers. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you for indulging me with my coloring book, my very own coloring book. I know it isn't a Da Vinci, but I'm happy with it. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and I hope some of you will get this and enjoy it. Give it to somebody, give it to a child, and do it with them. I'm thirsty, hold on. Sit and color with them and use the prompts to hear their answers and write their answers down and date them. Then the book gets put away and 10 years gets brought back out and found, and you hear their little answers. How precious is that? Or even yours. I would have forgotten that, Leo doing the ambushing on Margot had I not written it down. So, anyway, I am grateful for you, my ASMR community. I am truly grateful for you. I enjoy doing these videos for you, and it brings me calm too. I appreciate the feedback you guys give me. I don't like the trolls here and there. Once in a great while I get a troll. That's the worst thing in life. I'm doing okay. So I'm going to sign off for now. I bid you so much peace. I bid you so many peaceful moments, relaxation, and calm. And if this is nothing more than a nice blah, blah, blah in the background, I'm grateful that I can do that for you as well. All right. Take care, my friends, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Goodbye for now.